Hello, everyone on YouTube. Welcome back for a new coaching session with the Marvel Snap Premium members. Today we only have one person for some reason. We were supposed to have many more, but I guess life got in the way. But we have a new exciting metagame to discuss, so Bishop just gets a private session. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about snap opportunities because the metagame is a little bit all over the place. So the tier list was released. We could look at it quickly.
Can you share your screen?
I just thought about it as you told me. So if we take a look at the metagame, basically it's a lot of decks that we know about. But none of them is particularly better than another. So in tier 1, we have Destroy and Black Knight, which both posted the same cube average, which was 0.4. And usually 0.4 gets you in tier 2. Like the usual threshold for tier 1 is 0.5, and no deck has posted this since the OTA. So I had to lower the threshold, showing that there really isn't a deck that's doing particularly better than the other. And tier 2 is also a deck that we known about. Like there's Lockdown, which was already strong before the OTA. Discord, which got Meek in the mix and actually posted a very good win rate this week compared to the other decks. Thanos Control, Sarah Control, and Ongoing Tribunal. And if we look at these decks, apart from Sarah Control, all the decks are focusing on themselves, trying to be proactive, and develop their own synergy during a game. And this shows that in the current metagame, we haven't found a deck that is worth targeting, because we don't have like these kind of disruptive decks that have emerged yet. We also haven't found what is the best deck, like even proactively. I mean, we could consider Destroy is that deck, but because it hasn't really separated from the pack, it's hard to say like Destroy is dominant. Destroy is the best deck, but it's not particularly dominant, which is also why we haven't seen a lot of armors, or we haven't seen a lot of Cosmos, or like cards that would be really good against Destroy. So overall right now, the metagame is kind of anyone's game. If you don't really know what to play, and this has been kind of a trend looking at the popularity of each archetype, it feels like a lot of people are going to Destroy, simply because it's regarded as the best deck, and it's pretty easy to play as well. But something I wanted to work on today, and because that's a metagame that we don't often have, and I think that's really good, is something that I call Snap Opportunity. Basically, in Marvel Snap, there are two ways to play the game. When we started these sessions and we incorporated basic concepts that were important to understand, we talked about snap decks and win rate decks. So a win rate deck is a deck that is trying to win a lot of games, and because it wins a lot of games, naturally you build confidence and you start snapping more. Or you have snapping decks, which are decks that are going to have sort of a low win rate, but because they're unknown, or they're very surprising, or they have the ability to get out of very difficult situations, they are going to keep people in the match and get more for each win. Right now, there is no deck with a win rate that is clearly better than another one. Like the best win rate this week was Discord, which was at 57%. But if I take my notes, what's it? Where am I? Oh, here. Behind Discord, like Destroy was at 56%, Thanos Control was at 55, Ongoing Tribunal was at 55, Lockdown was at 55, Sarah Control was at 55, and even in tier 3, there was most decks were at like 54 or 53%. So the best cube rate deck is Destroy, but it's tied with Black Knight, and I think Lockdown was at 35. Destroy Discard was at 35. So it's really close in the cube rate category, and the win rate is the same. Like every deck on the board this week, like from Loki to Deadpool Destroy, the best one's at 57%. The worst one is at 53%. So nothing is very different, which means if no deck is going to beat the other ones consistently, we need to work on snap opportunities. Meaning we need to find a way for our wins to mean more, because it's really difficult to win more. Usually, like especially when the metagame is very open, you can't really use a targeting strategy. So that's going to be the first way that you create a snap opportunity, which is you try to target a popular deck. So whenever you see it, you're like, oh, cool, I'm gonna win because my deck is built for that purpose. And you know, for example, I don't know, like Inchinot, for example, back when he was playing both Armor and Cosmo and Leech, he was really, really good against Destroy because you had cards to limit what they could do early. And worst case, you still had Leech, which could disable Def, could disable Null, etc., etc. Right now, because they're not really a popular deck, you can't really have that strategy. Like, if you're going to target Destroy, for example, which is amongst the most popular, you're going to play cards which are completely useless against Discard. You're going to play cards that are completely useless against Zabu decks, or completely useless against Black Knight, against Ella, etc., etc. So that strategy is difficult to use. Then, another way to try and make your wins matter more is to play a deck that's surprising or that's unknown. Once again, because the metagame is so diverse right now, playing an unknown strategy isn't so easy because your win rate is going to be very low at first. Most of the time when you're playing a deck that's surprising or that relies on a very specific strategy, for example, Ongoing Tribunal would be the deck that would represent this well. It's here. Your goal is pretty simple. When you have the nuts, you're gonna snap, and when you don't, you're just gonna leave a cube on the table and you're gonna move on to the next game. The problem in this metagame is because there's so many different opponents, it's difficult to know when you're assured to win and when you should snap. The reason for this is, first, the more opponents in the metagame, the more information you need to be able to handle. If like a metagame is, let's say, 4 decks, you need to learn 4 matchups. If a metagame is 20 decks, you need to learn 20 matchups. So naturally, because there's a lot of decks, there's a lot of information that you need in order to know when to snap and when not to snap. It's mostly known decks, like it's mostly decks that have existed for a long time in the game, so that could be doable. But it's still like a lot of work. The second reason is because there aren't specific decks in the metagame, we don't really know which are the disruptive cards in the game. And that's kind of the problem with the unknown strategy. Usually, these are weak to specific cards. And you hope that these cards aren't part of the meta. For example, if you're playing Ongoing Tribunal, you're just hoping that you're not going to see a lot of Enchantress. You're hoping that you're not going to see a lot of Aliyeth. You're hoping that you're not going to see a lot of Rogue. Like, your goal is that your deck just does its thing, we're going to fight for power, and we're going to be doing well. If that deck was, I don't know, Phoenix Force, you would be hoping that the opponent cannot destroy other cards from you, or that Gladiator wasn't really popular, because if Gladiator kills another card from your deck with his unreveal ability, then it's a 50-50 on your Phoenix. you would hope that Shadow King isn't too popular because he would remove the power from your Phoenix, etc., etc. When there are a lot of decks, there is also a lot of different counter cards. Right now, if we go back to the top of the list, people that are going to try to beat Destroy, they could play Armor, they could play Cosmo, they could play Shadow King, they could play Alioth. People trying to beat Get Cards Black Knight, they could play Mobius to annoy Zabu. They could play Shang-Chi, so they're good against like the Magneto or the Infinite that is brought back with Ghost Rider. They could be playing just more points than the potential of Black Knight. They could be playing Elektra because it got buffed and it can kill Black Knight before the Ebony Blade is actually created. People trying to beat Lockdown could be playing Darkhawk because it's really good after Storm. People trying to beat Dracula could be playing Cosmo or could be playing Lady Deathstrike because it kills Dracula, etc., etc. When there's a lot of decks and none of them are really like similar from one another, because most of these are kind of doing their own thing, there aren't gonna be specific counter cards because there's nothing specific to counter. So when you go for the unknown strategy, you don't really know what these specific cards are in the metagame. So you don't really know who you can snap against and who you can't. Because when you see, let's say, I don't know, when you see good cards Black Knight, we're gonna go to the deck, and we can see that usually there's the Shang-Chi because it's a Zabu deck, but this one is playing Kyra and Jeff. What if Kyra is actually a rogue? What if Jeff is actually a Shadow King? What if it's a deck that isn't playing Jeff and instead is playing Scar? Etc., etc. It's the same decks, but they can have these small differences, and because these small differences are almost always gonna be in the disruptive cards, it's hard to benefit from avoiding the specific these counter cards. Then there is a third way, which is what we are going to discuss today, and that I'm really happy Bishop is here because he's probably gonna love that idea. Because we can target a popular deck because there are none, and because we can't avoid specific cards because there are no specific cards yet, we need to find things that every deck does. Like, we need to find the common points that are gonna tie every deck. Usually, there's a deck that, for some reason, wasn't part of the tier list this week, and I thought it would be pretty good after the OTA. And I don't know if nobody played it or if it did terribly bad, but it was a move. Because, for example, cards like Polaris, Magneto, Juggernaut, Stegron, these kind of cards, they should be annoying to pretty much everyone. Like, moving cards, like every deck plays cards, so moving cards is going to be annoying to a lot of decks. We could also talk about locations. Changing the locations, moving them around, that's also going to annoy most decks because every deck has to be mindful and respect the locations in the deck. So this is what we're going to try to do today, which is try to find decks which are strong enough to compete in general, not against a specific deck, and at the same time find cards which aren't specific and instead are global and can work in a lot of matchups in order to open these snap opportunities. That was the end of me talking alone.
I think it's good. I think a couple questions or points, I guess. So I've been playing for over a year now. So it seems that Destroy comes back a lot of times right after an OTA or a patch as sort of like I don't know what to play. I'm going to go play something that's easy and just does its thing while the meta sorts it out. Does that seem to be pretty consistent?
Yes, there are decks which, well, it's not necessarily Destroy. It's just decks that people know to play and aren't part of the patch. For a while, Destroy has been that deck. It was a mix of a very strong deck. Like, it was always, I think for the past few metagames, Destroy was always like top of that second group of decks. Like, there was, I don't know, there was the Darkhawk deck, or there was the Loki deck, or there was the Elsa deck, the Miss Marvel deck that was dominant. So there was the group of decks built around that really, really strong card, and then there was a group of decks behind it. And usually Destroy was really good in that second group. We had the nerfs in December, which nerfed part of that group. Then Blob became that dominant deck. Then Blob got nerfed. And so right now, that dominant thing, like that, this is the best thing you can do in Marvel Snap, we don't really know what that is. So because there's nothing in the first group, Destroy, who was top of second group, is like, oh, cool, I'm first. I'll take it.
Gotcha. I think that follows. I mean, I following. Yeah, it's Yeah, I think I always, and the other deck I tend to fall to is Loki, but without a I guess, and maybe right now Loki's suffering because destroy and discard are hard for Loki to counter or to play. So yeah, I like your focus things on every other deck, everything the deck does. I think that's maybe I feel that's an underutilized category, or a category I tend to fall into.
Well, the thing is, that category hasn't existed in a very long time, because I think since September, there always has been that one deck that was popular enough that if you target it, it's fine. Like, for example, if we go back to September, there was a Loki meta. So, for example, in September, Ella was very, very strong, because Hela was a disaster for Loki to copy the cards from. Like, you just looked at the deck and you was like, I can't use any of this. All these cards, like, you needed to steal a perfect hand. This card Dracula also was regarded as a really, really good match, a really, really good deck to play into Loki, because unless the opponent stole like the perfect hand with MODOK, Dracula, Apocalypse, and everything, well, you're not gonna do enough in just 1 or 2 turns when the deck has had the setup and everything going on for it. So in January, Loki was the best deck, and if you could beat Loki, it was enough to be a strong deck. In October, it was Elsa. Elsa pushed a lot of different decks, but this was like kind of the golden age of Shadow King. So every deck was running Shadow King because this countered Elsa, and you were guaranteed that you were going to face Elsa a lot. Then we had November, which was a mix of Werewolf by Night and Miss Marvel. Werewolf by Night wasn't really counterable because it could move, so it didn't lead to specific cards going against it. There was a lot of Profex, there was some Shadow King and Shang-Chi, and these cards were good against Werewolf, but they were just good overall. They just happened to be also good against Werewolf. But it was mostly the time where there was a lot of Miss Marvel, so we also saw a lot of Rogue. Then December came around. We had a little bit of the Mobius against Rogue metagame, and then Blob released. Thanos started to take over, and then it was the same thing. Everyone was like, you either play Thanos or you find a way to beat Thanos. So Junk got really, really good because it's a synergy that always done well against Thanos. And then we had the patch that we have now, and that's about where we are. So I think for at least the last 4 months, 5 months, this focus on things every deck does wasn't the best thing you could do, because there was always a deck that you were like, oh, if I bid this, I'm good. Like, I'll have my cubes if I can snap against this deck and beat it. And the thing is, actually, the last time we were in the situation where we really don't know what was the best deck was in the summer, and in the summer, Move was the best deck.
Right.
And I mean, the Move deck wasn't bad. Like, it was a really, really good deck. But the Move deck didn't disappear because it was nerfed. It disappeared because September came around and cards that were just significantly better released.
Right.
Did you have any other questions?
No, like I said, I'm excited. I mean, this is interesting. I mean, I definitely, I think this screen here, just the snap opportunity screen, kind of breaking it down, I think is very, one of these things. I have a few of these that I saved that it's nice to go back to, and I don't know what's going on, so let me try to figure out which scenario we're in, and then how to modify from that. So,
Yep. Okay.
so yeah, let's look at some decks. I'm excited.
So we could complete it a little bit. So right now there's destroy, there's discard. What else had enough popularity? And Zabu as a in general. There isn't like ongoings. Yeah, like these would be the 3 most used synergies in the game. But I mean, you could target destroy and discard with Cosmo together. But
Yeah,
it's not just Cosmo. It's Cosmo plus priority plus 1 out of 3 chance because you gotta find the right location.
yeah. I think
Go ahead.
originally when discard came in, I went to a move synergy package with more of the, like you said, like irritation cards like Polaris. Move the Mobius to the same lane as the Dracula, or drag the Dracula to the same lane as the Mobius and stuff like that. And that got me through some of the discard. But it was a lot of sniping. Having to know where they're going to play and then playing it above them. And then destroy. I think I settled onto Cosmo, and I got rid of Polaris and went with Cosmo and Shadow King and Enchantress. And that is actually accidentally I've stumbled into pretty strong against discard, pretty strong against destroy, and I can pick off the occasional, ongoing Tribunal or ongoing Thanos deck. And that's gone pretty well. Again, obviously it's about, there's some turning points in the match where if I haven't hit what I need to hit, it's time to just walk away.
Yes, but that's kind of not the problem, but it doesn't lead to games where you can confidently snap. It's a lot of games that you can play. Like, you don't have to retreat those games. You have a shot, but you never create that opportunity where like, oh, I can snap. I can make this a 4 cube or I can make this an 8 cube game. You're like, okay, this is a 1 cube game, and maybe I'll go to turn 6, but I gotta be careful. And usually that situation is good when you have a deck with a very high win rate. Like, you need to have that like 59, 60, more than 60% win rate. Because if you're at like 55% and all your games are 1 and 2, you're not stalling, but it can feel like you are.
Right, you're not going to climb fast. Yeah,
exactly.
And one bad move, and you tumble.
Yeah,
and you're like,
and when you lose actually that snap game and you lose like 4 or 8 cubes, you're like, all right, my last 3 hours are down the drain.
Right. I will say I've been impressed or interested that I was a little more concerned, and so was another Quake player, that with the buff to Quake, it would show up everywhere. And honestly, it showed up for about a week, and then maybe people found it more complicated to play than it is. But it's quiet, and I still get away with most of the same Quake moves without any punishment. So it's nice.
I personally grow onto Quake, but there is one thing that we no, it's not this one, it's this one. And there is the other thing that we need to talk about today, how important priority is in those scenarios. Because in order to control the game most of the time, or actually trigger those snaps, you need to have a card or like build a situation that your opponent is not going to see coming, so you can snap it. But most of the time, you need priority. And Quake is part of those cards. We discussed Zabu already for the Destroy discard. It's part of those cards. I feel like right now, priority is extremely important. But the thing is, because there's so many synergies, nobody's really working for priority, because considering we haven't found what's really good to do, we haven't found what's the reason to seize priority. Like, we don't have an Alioth or that kind of card anymore that's so strong that you're like, all right, I just take priority and that card's going to win me the game. I do think Alioth could still be that card. But after a couple nerfs, a lot of people have lost faith in this. And then Quake I don't think Quake is strong enough to be that card that you just throw in every single deck, or there's games where you just don't have the locations to do it. Personally, I pulled up the deck that I'm currently playing. It's this one. I have Quake in my deck, and this is basically what I'm trying to do right now. We can hide it. And my idea was I have 3 disruptive cards. So it's Quake, Green Goblin, and Polaris. And that's kind of what we were discussing. So I have Quake in order to just change the locations. Polaris is pretty okay against Deadpool, X-23, that kind of cards that can just move away.
Mm-hmm.
And Green Goblin is kind of the same. It's mostly for Black Knight decks, because if you can guess where they're gonna Ghost Rider, you just throw Green Goblin with priority, and Ghost Rider never summons because the lane is full before it reveals. Well, but these cards are all good only if you have priority, which means you need a deck that can seize priority. Personally, I love Bounce, so I went with Bounce, and I have a lot of small cards that I can just throw and be flexible priority-wise. But
I tried this deck. That you had, and I mean, I think I stumbled into a negative. I mean, into the when I was trying to play it, I was playing against only people who were running Alioth. I mean, not Alioth. I'm sorry, Annihilus, and people who were running Galactus. And I was like, I won them all, but it was or I won majority of them, but it was a lot of struggling to kind of play around where they were going to play, and knowing like my goblins were going to keep coming back. But I did try this deck. I got it off one of the lists you published. I was actually wondering if I might stick an Annihilus in there at one point instead of maybe not Valkyrie, but to kind of finish the, kind of to kind of balance it out a little bit for those matchups. But then those matchups got better. So
well, to me, it's Spider-Ham kind of solved those. It feels like every deck right now is pretty synergistic. So if you hit that one card with Spider-Ham, you just snap. And this is another way that we were gonna discuss today, and that's here. So it's in the focus. It's if you can hit the key card, you just get 1 cube. For example, like against Destroy, you Spider-Ham turn 1, you hit Null, you snap, and you're happy. Like most of the time they retreat. They give you a cube. 1 cube a turn is absolutely incredible. Same thing against Annihilus, Spider-Ham Annihilus, Spider-Ham Galactus. So these are the cards that we're gonna look for today. Cards that can open, not safe snaps, because I don't think there's a safe snap right now, but a snap opportunity. I mean, against this card is the same thing. Like Spider-Ham Dracula, and suddenly like nobody stays in that kind of game. So yeah, this was one of the ideas. But what I want to do is for us to go in the deck builder and try to list those cards that are just generic, and they're gonna be like, all right, well, I can help, like I can make you win games.
Right.
All right, so website is actually pretty slow right now, but we're gonna get there. So we discussed Spider-Ham already. I wonder if Yondu could be one of them. But the problem is, because Destroy is so popular, I don't really know how much that would help them or not. But I think, like, for someone that wouldn't have Spider-Ham, for example, I wouldn't mind Yondu, to be honest. Also because at least it tells you what the opponent is playing. We discussed Spider-Ham, which, of course, can annoy a lot of people. Oh my god!
So I would also look at Snowguard.
You would look at Snowguard. So for locations?
I mean, there's locations. It can shut down. It shuts anybody who's running. It counters some of those, like, I'm going to rely on some sort of, anything that has to do with locations. I wish it was a little more reliable for negative building, but anybody who wants to grow from a location, Snowguard can control that spot. It's great against lockdown stuff, right? So I think of it as it interrupts the the flow of the game. And so I think and every deck needs locations. Every deck needs the flow. It needs to count to 6. It needs to understand what's going on. And I think that's kind of one of the ones I would put in there.
Okay. Oh my god, cards are just not showing.
Load. Yeah, I can't tell it didn't load.
Everyone's using Marvel Snap Zone on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Oh, let's do it.
There you
go.
You want to just click your
energy.
favorites?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it this way.
That's
So
it.
if you see one, I'll just move over my mouse. Iceman could be.
Iceman, yeah, for sure. That means disruption. It changes your cost.
Maybe Iceman. I'm not gonna put it in that category. I'm gonna put it in the priority category.
Okay.
Because usually,
while you're in there, you can add more Baron in there too, because it's literally the same card, or almost the same card. Baron Mordor, isn't that Baron Mordor? The two raise your cost to 6, draws a card.
Yeah, but it draws a card. It's not Iceman just ups the card. It's not exactly the same. Like the problem with Baron Mordo is you give them a card. Iceman doesn't give them a card.
Yeah. Well, no, I understand that, but it also, I mean, if you're trying to play if you want to play a 3-cost Venom, it's now a 6-cost Venom. That changes your whole game, doesn't it? I mean,
it does, but at the same time, because you get them to draw a card, if they don't draw the card they want, you help them find it because their deck is now smaller.
okay.
So it's a double-edged sword. Like, if you hit the right card...
it may not be the best.
Yeah, and the other problem with Baron Mordo, and it's kind of the problem with Iceman, except Iceman doesn't have really a drawback. It's just you think it's good enough or not. And this is why Spider-Ham is so good, is Spider-Ham tells you what card you hit. Baron Mordo doesn't. So, Baron Mordo is hard to snap off of it, because you play Baron Mordo and you snap, you don't actually know if you hit the right thing or not. While Spider-Ham is just like, hey, here's the card. You want to snap it or not? And Iceman won't push you to snap, but Iceman at least will say, no matter what I hit, that should be annoying. Worst case, they are not going to play that card this game. But sometimes Baron Mordo, because it makes the deck smaller, you give them a better chance of actually finding the card they wanted. What else? We could include move in general, because that's just a non-committal synergy, which means you can just throw cards for tempo, and you will figure it out later on where to place them.
You can look at Uatu for this too. Again, it falls in the same category. It's a location allowance thing, so it allows you to beat the game. Of course, the answer is most people just play into the dark. So again, it's not snappable. But if you know that if you do something off that card, it's maybe not as snappable as you're trying to get to. But if you're able to play off that card that nobody else can, that knowledge, then you are ahead. But it's definitely situational.
I think it's too situational, but yeah, I see what you mean. I just don't think it's good enough in what it does.
2
costs. What do we have in 2 costs? Daredevil could work. Yeah, Daredevil.
Again, it helps with what priority? Would it be under the priority card?
Nah, because it's a 2/2. It's actually bad for priority because the average is a 2/3. But Daredevil opens snaps. Because sometimes Daredevil just show you they're not gonna have a good 5. You just snap it.
Yeah. Yep. Then what about, and then a goose is another one that I would think about in 2. Most people want to play big cards, and Goose says you're not playing big cards.
Well, most people, how? Because let's look at the tier list. Destroy doesn't care.
doesn't care.
Destroy doesn't care.
Yeah, Destroy doesn't.
Zabu
Okay,
doesn't
so we'll
care
take this.
because the real problem for Goose is that Zabu says every 4 cost can be played here.
Yeah.
And like Gitkar's Black Knight is a Zabu deck. Sarah Control is a Zabu deck. Loki's a Zabu deck. Darkhawk's a Zabu deck. Inchinot can slam a She-Hulk on your Goose. Thanos doesn't care because they play Lockjaw. Ella doesn't care because they can summon cards either way, etc., etc.
Okay.
So I like the idea of Goose. It's just not applicable in the current metagame.
What about Scorpion then?
Scorpion could work.
It's not maybe a hard snap on this, but it depowers your cards, right? And every card plays something.
Yes, this is a possibility. I mean, we're not trying to find the best cards because, I mean, if we were just trying to find the best card, we would just look at the tier list, look at the cards everyone's playing.
Right.
But true, everyone likes to have power on their cards. And actually, it's not so bad into Deadpool because imagine you Scorpion on turn 2 and you hit Deadpool. Even if they destroy it. Let's say they got Deadpool on turn 1, Carnage on turn 2, Deadpool is back to a 1, and let's say over the course of the game they would have destroyed it 3 times. That -1 is actually going to become a -6. So in the current context, isn't so bad. So Zabu, obviously. I'm just gonna.
Oh, that makes sense. I like that. I like that explanation then. The energy cheaper conservation. Yeah.
Energy cheating is good for priority because you play big cards before your opponent, so you have more points than your opponent at some point. What else?
Well, you gotta put Quake in there. And
did we pass it already?
No, it's in there.
Oh,
we're working our way down. You got
yeah, we already put the move. Yeah, I wrote move cards in general.
Oh, you put on move. Okay.
Because otherwise, we're just gonna put Nightcrawler, Jeff, Vision, like
yeah.
The cards that basically every deck has been using as 11th or 12th for the last 6 months because well, there's no downside. Like move is just it's not going to be incredible, but there's never a downside. Like, oh, you misplaced your card? Let me move it. Oh, okay, cool. So yes, Quake is going to join Snowguard in the location part. Ravona just...
I don't know if I put Scarlet... Oh, yeah. Oh, that's Ravona because it's a cheater, energy cheating.
She goes in the energy cheats. Scarlet Witch, I'm not sure. Because the difference between Snowguard and Quake and Scarlet Witch is that Scarlet Witch has a random element to it. And if we're talking about snapping, you want to be in control when you snap.
Yep.
By the way, hello Judai. Feel free to join in on the discussion if you feel like it.
Goblin?
Green Goblin is disruption. We're just gonna have a new one, and we're gonna call it Space Problems or Space Disruption. Because no one likes to have their space taken away. Some decks do better with little space than others, but there's literally no deck that doesn't want to have space and be flexible. Lockjaw is in the energy cheats. Negasonic kind of works as in the priority.
Priority or space disruption?
What?
Both.
No,
I was wondering if it falls under space disruption.
Negasonic isn't space disruption. It benefits from space disruption because it makes it more likely that you hit. No, it's not this one. Well, it doesn't do... And Negasonic isn't really an eater because it wants priority and it benefits from some of those things, but it doesn't help with either. It's a reward if you manage to get either. So I'm not sure it actually helps create it. What else? Black Widow is in the space disruption. Cosmo. Where do we put Cosmo? Cosmo is the same as Negasonic. It's
Yeah.
But there's one thing that we could say about Cosmo is like I'm pretty sure if we look at Unreveal, Marvel Snap has a lot of unreveals.
Yeah.
So
I think we scrolled over about Storm. You kind of passed. You weren't.
well, she's in the space disruption part.
Yeah. And
I just
then,
started
yeah.
to get big categories so we don't know to
Gotcha. You don't have to do card by card.
20
Okay.
cards.
Well,
Debris
of course.
Well, it's yes and no, because it works as the space disruption one, but we gotta keep in mind Destroy is a very good deck right now.
Yeah.
So it's space disruption, but some people could answer, yeah, it's also def discount.
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey is definitely, it's not a space disruption.
No, it'd be location control, maybe. I don't know how you argue. I mean, or tempo. I don't know.
I think we're just gonna have a new one. How do we call this? Oh, I'm gonna call it play pattern disruption.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna write Jean Grey so we know why we had the idea. But yeah, basically you force them into doing something.
I'd like to imagine that Second Dinner has a whiteboard up with something similar actually in their card design room.
Well, if they can send us theirs, we're gonna gain a lot of time during the session.
Same time, yeah.
Juggernaut is obviously in the space disruption category.
Right.
Killmonger could be in the generic keywords because there's a lot of one cost right now. And for example, like if we just look at the tier list, so Deadpool, if you don't have priority, Killmonger killing a 6 or 12 power Deadpool is absolutely incredible. Against Black Knight, if you have priority on turn 3 and you kill Black Knight, you cancel like a Lady Sif, for example. They don't get the Ebony Blade. Lockdown plays Nebula, which often is Storm's best friend, which logically makes it much harder for them to win the lane. Discord Dracula just got a new one cost that they love to play. Thanos Control actually needs the one cost to win the Professor X lane. There's Kyra, so Sarah Control doesn't care, Ongoing doesn't care. Junk, literally the reason why Junk is constantly tier 3 is because it's really bad against Destroy. Shuri Soran doesn't care that much. Evolutionary decks hate Killmonger with a passion.
Yes.
Ella Lockjaw doesn't care. Thanos Lockjaw cares, depends on the way they play it, but it's a Kyra deck. It's either a Kyra deck or a Def deck, so I'm gonna say they don't care that much. And Darkhawk only plays Korg, so I don't think they care. Loki cares. So we have what?
Yeah.
1, 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 4 to 5 decks which actually would be weak to Killmonger. So I think Killmonger could be attack generic patterns. Mobius, same thing. Everyone wants energy cheats. Maybe not everyone does it, but nobody's gonna turn it down. And sometimes you just cancel some locations.
For Killmonger, you have 2 cards specifically designed to keep Killmonger from doing its, or 2 or 3 cards designed to keep Killmonger from doing its job. So I think, that tells you it's a key card for that reason.
Yes. Mobius, just Elysium. You see Elysium, you have Mobius, you snap, you're happy.
Yeah.
That could be enough. Rhino is unfortunately just not good enough. Make Rhino make it a 3/5. Just give it the treatment of every turn 3. Make it a 3/5, and we would play it. The Rock Synergy. We haven't discussed the Rock Synergy yet.
We skipped. That's right. We skipped Borg.
Well, we could put it in the play pattern disruption. They can draw worse, so logically their play patterns are disrupted. Okay. We could potentially get Cable in the discussion. Like maybe Cable is actually a good Loki deck right now, because good in Loki right now, because similarly to Spider-Ham, you know the card, so sometimes like Cable could be a snap-worthy card.
What do you think about like Coulson? I mean, this is a card that
You mean in general or in Loki?
Well, I mean, you're not, because you're not. I'm trying to, in this theory that you're talking, because we're not attacking, we're not doing something to anyone else, but it's a card that doesn't care. It can improve your hand or it can fix your play. But I'm trying to think if this is considered like a card that just kind of can be, in your discussion, if this actually is another category, an area that's just overall beneficial without. It doesn't care about anything that's going on. It doesn't care about what you're playing against. It just gives you more options.
I think it's decent, and it's played in Loki for sure, but I don't think I would play Coulson alone. Like, first, okay. I think Coulson needs Quinjet, and immediately that becomes a problem, because Destroy is really popular, so I need something that protects Quinjet, and so we get to, like, I need Quinjet plus Coulson plus maybe armor, and suddenly I'm like, yeah, if I'm not playing this in Loki, I just don't have space in my deck.
Okay.
Polaris,
Spider-Man, Viper,
Polaris, Spider-Man. Wow, I mean, they're just put all of them together, so that's really nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Space disruption stuff. Wave. Oh my god, if we had all Wave right now, we would know what the metagame is if we had all Wave right now.
Gladiator is another one that, it tells you what they're playing. It destroys. I mean, I guess the downside is it pulls something in, but that can take up space or disrupt the pattern.
Yeah, Gladiator is high risk, high reward. But if the risk is you lose 1 cube and the reward is you get to snap, maybe it's worth it. Like, if you consider the card loses you 1 cube but wins you 2 cubes, I mean, if it works 50% of the time, you're really, really happy.
Yeah. I think one thing I always enjoy about Gladiator is when Shang-Chi is in my hand, right? And they just flow together so well.
Yes.
It's so nice.
I had it at some point in the deck that I showed before, like instead of Polaris, because I could buff it with Forge or Nico and make it a 10, which would kill a lot of things. But then he was getting Shang-Chi'd, and then I was like, Thanos was coming back, so I switched to Polaris. But definitely Gladiator is, I think, a very decent card, like a decent standalone right now.
Yeah.
We could discuss about Dracula, like cards that just hide their power, but I don't really know if that's a thing that's gonna annoy the opponent. So disruptive cards, obviously, like the Shang-Chi, the Enchantress, and all that kind of stuff.
Like a specific card.
Werewolf
works in the same way.
Is a move card.
Man-Thing attacks a specific wordage, right? Attacks size.
It attacks size, but the problem is it attacks both sides.
I guess you're right. It has a negative too.
That's the problem. Like, the problem with Man-Thing is that you need to set it up very, very specifically, and that means you can't get help from your own 1, 2, and 3. So Man-Thing will rarely win a lane on its own, and whenever you have to invest a 4 plus like a 5 or a 6 into a lane, then a lot of cards are gonna win it.
They should make it in like the Reds. I mean, they should just make it affect the other side. It would be a good card.
Yeah, maybe it would just be 1 and 2s, but only for the opponent.
Yeah.
Or -1, but for the opponent. I'm not really sure.
But -1 power. No, I mean, it's not a bad, because that would make it a 4, somewhere in the 4.
Yeah, it could be a 4/9.
Makes it 4/8 or 4/8 to 4. Yeah, so I mean 4/8. I'm sorry, 4/9. Yeah, so that's not a bad decent
card. Silver Samurai is pretty good if there are low power cards that you want to target. Stegron is in the move your opponent's card category.
299 is destroyed, but it's a pain to use.
Space Disruption. Space Disruption. Everyone hates Leech.
Yeah, I mean, Kang is also like anything that it's not good. It didn't work out the way it was supposed to, but I mean, if you put it in the same level as Daredevil, right? You can see their whole turn. And no one expects it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if Kang would draw you a card all the time when you play it, it would be such a good card.
Yeah.
The
I
problem
want it to do
is,
something that it
yeah,
doesn't do, but
the problem is it's effectively a dead card. Like,
yeah.
unless you
It's,
draw it on turn 5, that would. Disruption. Sandman. Maybe Sandman is good. Not sure, but
play
maybe.
disruption. Play disruption, yeah. Spider Woman. She makes things. She just like she just makes burns up, makes
Yeah, but
things
it's
negative. Or
too
look
late,
cost.
and it's specific to a location, so it's hard to see what you would want to target in the current metagame.
Yeah.
Arrow is the space. Octopus was really bad during the Thanos meta, but I'm not sure what it would be right now. Maybe we could
It always
use Octopus
it just
again.
loses me games. It just loses me games. It draws the Shang-Chi. like always.
Yeah. Legion is the location one.
Yes.
Alioth is a reward for priority. And then it's just like basically win conditions depending on how you build your deck. Alright, so. Well, we can't do everything. So, what can the tier list help us remove? For example, Good Cards Darkhawk did absolutely terribly this week. While it has a lot of those cards, like it has some energy cheat, it has global disruption with Leech, Shadow King, Shang-Chi, it has the rock synergy. So why is it doing so bad? I don't know. Attacking generic keywords, I feel like not a lot of people are doing it. I didn't see any Cosmos. I didn't see many many gladiators. Like there are some, but not that many. It is in the Sarah control deck. I feel like Sarah control could be a good start. Space disruption, I think it's getting there, but Destroy is very, very good at playing around the space disruption tools, which naturally limits it. I could actually color it. So this one,
I mean, the deck that I'm playing currently uses 3 different ways to attack generic words, right? I mean, I have Enchantress, I have Enchantress, Cosmo, and Killmonger all running simultaneously, and they do quite well. In they're finding their places. They're all been very pivotal. So much so that it was, I think, Gladiator was one, and Shang-Chi are 2 cards that I pulled to get those in.
okay. Scorpion. There's the deck with Scorpion. Is the pure evolutionary. It didn't do so bad. It didn't do great either. Daredevil. I think Daredevil has a shot. Like, no deck was playing Daredevil. Like, if you can wrestle priority, Daredevil can be really, really good. Like a Daredevil plus Cosmo duo against Destroy. If you have priority, you just shut their Deadpool against good cards. Like, you can, against Destroy, you can shoot their MODOK. Lockdown, you can shoot their, you could shoot their Miss Marvel or something like that.
Well, I think also for Daredevil Destroy, like, because of the X-23, everyone's playing the null on 5. Playing the null on 5 is another. Like,
well, the thing is, if you know it, you could land your ongoing counter cards, or you know which lane to abandon.
Yep.
I think Daredevil isn't bad. We can keep Daredevil as an idea. Locations are one of the things that are apparently doing pretty well, and attacking key cards also looks decent. But the problem with this is that the things that seem to do well are things that don't provide a lot of points.
Right.
So the challenge is going to be, so let's say I build a new deck and we said we want what? So we said attack key cards. So we'll see if all of them sticks in it, but where's Spider-Ham? This. I'll even throw Quake for good measures. Alright, So I have Gladiator, but what the hell can I do with this?
So I would okay. So if I'm going to build off of that right now, just because we're going to sticking with the concept, we're attacking cards. Fine, you got Gladiator, put Shang-Chi in, or that would be a thought I'd have because hopefully the Gladiator pulls something. If it pulls something right that it kills, great. If it pulls something that it doesn't kill, maybe Shang-Chi can follow it up.
Yeah, okay, but still, the question is like, we can disrupt.
What else?
But how do we win?
Right.
Like, what are our points?
So our things that so I like Gladiator here again because it puts points, right? I like Maximus in there because it's a 2/6, so it puts points on the board early. You could argue that
but you
3 of those cards.
So like we're disrupting them, but at the same time we're giving them cards.
I mean, if you want to play it on 5, put it behind Cosmo. But if you're gonna, especially if you're gonna play, if you have Daredevil running, right, you're gonna try to use a Cosmo snipe. Then
yeah, but okay, but
Gladiator.
I get a Cosmo snipe, all right, but I still need to get priority.
Again, I usually have priority. I use Maximus all the time, and yes, I know. I'm just saying this is how I do it. But
okay.
And it puts points on the board. I guess I'm hoping that after Gladiator, you have a bunch of priority, right?
Well, I'm confident Gladiator would give me priority on that lane.
Mm-hmm.
What decks could run Daredevil in the tier list? If we go from here, so Destroy doesn't care about Daredevil. Black Knight doesn't really care about Daredevil. Lockdown could.
No.
I don't know what I would remove for it. Probably Medusa, but it could. But at the same time, it doesn't really make sense. Like you just play Vision, which is
right.
a generic 5.
Right.
This doesn't care about Daredevil. Thanos Control could play Daredevil. Because you can ramp into Alioth on turn 5. And it's a deck that can have priority. Too. That's one deck I could see with priority.
I mean, you have Iron Lad on 4. You could ramp onto 4 with Donald Dinosaur or something.
Let's see. What if... I'm just gonna try stuff. What if we get the Gladiator because it's good with Blob and we want some disruption? We can't really take out Jeff because we have Prophet. The question is, what do we take for Daredevil? We take out Shang-Chi because we just play for priority and we have Alioth?
Mm. Yeah, you don't want to lose Psylocke because you want to be able to ramp into 4 or 5,
this is a ramp.
Right? So
this is needed for Professor X. Gladiator is good with Blob and we need priority. Yeah, I think it's Shang-Chi.
I mean, you don't need the Shang-Chi if you're going to play Blob, right? Because you can always play Blob behind the Gladiator.
Yeah. Is that a deck?
I mean, it's basically Lockdown, right?
Oh, it's a different Lockdown. It's more active. Okay, let's go with Thanos Disrupt. And our snipes are Professor X, Alioth. And if we don't get any, we just slam Vision or...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have 1. What else? Sarah Control. I feel like Sarah Control is a deck that could fit the concept we're trying to push. The only problem is... Oh wait, Daredevil isn't so bad with Legend. It's really bad with Sarah, but it's not so bad with Legion.
Mm-hmm. I'm so tired of playing Miss Marvel.
You're tired of playing Miss Marvel?
There are so many cards. There's so many. Like I played discard to get to finish some of the quests this week, and man, after like finishing the quest, I was like, I don't understand how people can play this all the time. It is so painful. It is the same thing. I could literally just tell my 9-year-old or something 7-year-old, here, just put these cards down in this order and don't worry about it.
Well, you need these kind of decks because some people like to play this way.
I understand. I get it. I just
You just hate
I was
it.
hating myself.
Understand.
I was
But yeah,
having an
it's.
emotion. I was exhausted.
I feel like Sarah is already doing it its own way. Like it's the deck already fits that concept. That's another deck we could try if we want. But I don't really know how we could like change it.
I've always wanted to. I'll have to try this at some point. But I've always wanted to put every location controlled card together and just
Yeah.
make a big mess of things.
Well, that was the Sarah Werewolf deck.
Hmm.
But yeah, for example, we could just have Spider Ham instead of Shadow King. I don't know if that's good, but okay. What other deck can Ongoing Tribunal is literally the opposite of what we're trying to do. We could play a different junk. Like with Polaris Goblin, like a more active one, but it would be pretty close to the deck I showed already. Fury Sauron doesn't care. Pure Evo? We could play Pure Evo.
It's got Scorpion already in there. It's got some other stuff in there.
Can we play Daredevil in this? Not really.
What are you aiming for then? You're just gonna where are you gonna put your Hulk or your Spider Woman?
Yeah, we would have
And
to.
if you already have priority, then Spider Woman's not that great, right? It's better
Yeah,
from
like the
behind
deck
priority.
already has his cards, kind of. Like we could change Shocker for Cosmo, but that's about it. Ella Lockjaw, no. Thanos Lockjaw is basically Thanos control, but points. Good card Dorkhawk can be modified. Problem about that. Uh, ow. This, something like this. Cosmo, for example. Hmm. Is Leech good? Want I don't know. We discussed Sandman,
Oh, and then Sandman into Doom.
for example. There's Legion
But
too.
if you
Legion better
if
luck?
you don't have if you don't have Sandman, then what else can you? I mean, you need especially if you need two cards to play Miss Marvel now. You know, you have to kind of defeat some of the purpose of Zabu if you can't double up on turn 6
Yeah, but then maybe
because you're
Legion?
of your own Sandman.
Is Legion
Legion's
better
always
than
good.
Legion?
Um,
Right. We know Leech is good. Okay, so we have another concept. Inchinot just plays its own game. Loki. Good.
yeah,
Try
you
to
can stuff
adapt
anything you
Loki.
want.
I am
Hmm.
entirely sure Cosmo is really good in Loki. Just makes sense.
Gosh, it's very reactive Loki deck.
What?
It's a very reactive Loki deck, right? Shang-Chi, Enchantress.
Oh, it's just because people play Zeb.
Yeah.
I don't really like Miss Marvel personally. I like Werewolf way
Hmm.
better. Where do you want to put in
I think
Cosmo?
this. I think yeah, I think Miss Marvel becomes restrictive in a Loki deck because you're tripping over your ones and twos. So
I don't want Iron Lad in this. Iron Lad would be so good. Like you can roll Sarah, Loki. Are there a lot of ongoing in the current metagame?
I've been running into a fair. Well, I mean, if you include some of the Thanos stuff, yeah, I think there's enough. But I mean, you got Null, you have Mobius, you have um, the whole Tribunal deck. I think a lot of people are running at least one, right? A key card, right? They're ongoing to something key in their deck. Even Thanos, if you kill either you get Devil Dinosaur or you get even just taking out the
So maybe
what do you
it's
call it, the Orange Stone
Cosmo we
is
don't
sufficient.
play, and instead we play Iron Lad, so we are more on the energy cheat side of things. It's kind of a Sarah Loki. Like it's gonna look very, very like it's basically this one, except this one is reactive and this one is proactive.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's a lot of decks. Let me remove some so I don't get confused. This one, and these are all the ones we built plus the one we discussed already. Alrighto, are we ready to test some decks?
I guess so.
All right, which one do you want to test first?
Maybe either Loki or either the Thanos Disrupt or the Loki Sarah, the two that I think sounded the most interesting.
Okay, let me send. So you can start like sharing your screen and all of this.
Let's see, which one should we do first?
Wait, I'm an idiot.
What's up?
I pasted the Loki deck instead of copying the Thanos deck. Thanos Pro. This anymore. This, and we said more Dino. Said Daredevil and Gladiator, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What's going
This
on? It's
one.
not loading.
All right, you get both decks.
Working on that.
Amazes. Unless you want me to play some.
That's fine. I'll play. I just got to get into this now. I guess I should start sharing my screen, huh?
Do you? Because it's Sunday, so it could be biased, but because Altar of Death is a featured location, I mean, we could play like the Darkhawk deck with Legion or this one with Quake because it's really good with the destroying location. But that would kind of ruin the purpose of this. Like, we're recording on Sunday, we're obviously gonna abuse the location. People are gonna watch the video. Oh, the location is out, so maybe we're gonna go on Conquest with the like. We'll go for a Conquest match on.
Give me a second. I'm just a little bit frazzled here. Something didn't come
I'll
across.
drink some tea.
Where did the? Oh, here we go. Okay, starting screen sharing.
I don't know if intended, but when you share screen, your microphone got muted.
Sorry, somebody came and asked me a question.
Don't worry.
So okay, so it didn't copy over for some reason. And it didn't like the
What did
didn't
you
like the
try to
code.
copy? Because you only need to copy the code.
Yeah, I think I have to go back and go dig into the.
Can change.
No, you're fine. I just got to go find the message. I am having a lot of physical problems with this today. I don't. The way they changed some of the chatting has driven me.
I
Okay.
can tell you cards otherwise.
No, see, that's the thing. It won't let me mark. Oh, I see. The code is here at the bottom one.
Well,
That's
the bottom
it.
one
Okay,
is
let's start with it.
the Thanos deck.
There we go. So I got the
Yeah, I
Thanos
changed the
deck.
message, so now you only have the code. Copy the message.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the problem. I think I had the first one. So let me grab. I got Thanos. And then let me go get the other one. So the Thanos was the first one or the second one?
Thanos is the second one.
Okay. So let's start something.
Let's do this.
Oh, weird. Would have loaded up. Okay, so let's do Thanos control, I guess. Ugh.
Oh wait, you went on the ladder?
Yeah, do you want me to go in Conquest?
Yeah, because the featured location is going to impact the testing way too much.
Okay.
Like Altar of Death is just going to be too good with decks that can use locations, and we're going to see destroy way too much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I don't know why I'm in here. I should have gone to something bigger next time. I should have played. I have a whole bunch of tickets to use up, so I might as well use them. But we'll snap this fast and get out.
We'll snap this fast and get out. Nah, play well
Either
and
lose at
see,
8 or,
and see for
yeah.
ideas are good.
Destiny will arrive.
Okay. Regular deck. So Stone Center.
Yep. So we have Psylocke, but nothing to ramp into. Would really love to see a Daredevil right now. Oh, well, we know what they play.
Well, of course.
Be fully known.
The rules for testing into a deck, right?
Well, now you
So I
have
guess we're gonna
something to ramp into.
Yeah, we'll Psylocke into
Yes.
Iron Lad.
Well, the good thing
Snap.
is,
Oh, snap.
do you want to stay in, or do you want to give them a cube and move on?
I snapped. I snapped.
Oh, you snapped. My bad.
I snapped.
Well, you don't know if they have Ella or not. Well, they're not gonna draw any. Wait, they didn't draw anything? Because this deck is supposed to play Blade and Black Knight.
Let's see. Let's go left, I think.
Well, we're trying to keep priority, so that's how we keep it.
Yeah, are we? Yeah, I think that's. Okay,
And the good thing is,
Gigantor.
Iron Lad is actually gonna tell you what their next draw is. Did you break the game?
It's always changing.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I think we're in trouble.
Do you regret snapping now?
I regret nothing. Well, now I regret, right? Oh, this is chaos.
Wait, do you want them to draw from their deck next? Because if they draw Ella, I'm not happy with it. What did what did Iron Lad copy?
Their Iron Lad got their Moon Knight, so they're going to
okay.
discard. Ours got Iron Lad, so.
You already drew the card from Iron. So that's.
Yeah, so I was thinking I'd just play into Legion and go crazy. It
Yeah,
makes turn
but
6 unpredictable.
the main thing is,
I mean, we
I
don't.
think if we Legion, we have to do it on Weird World. We don't want to increase their chances of finding Ella. Like, they have a Death and a Black Cat in the pool.
So why if I play Willwood, then they're going to draw from their deck, aren't they?
No. It says both players draw from their opponent's deck. It doesn't say, it doesn't change it. So if you play it on Weird World, everything's going to be Weird World.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
That's a big dino.
This
He's a
land
huge
can
dino.
never be fully known.
Okay, so we have a useless 6 card. I guess it's Blue Marvel on Weird World on the right gets us, or left gets us points, but that's about it. This is a really crappy hand.
On the right, you tie left, win both middle and right, but that's not good.
Right.
I mean, it's not
I mean,
great, but
it's not better. Either if you play it left, you lose right and you win left middle. So it's slightly better on the right than left, isn't it?
yeah. The only question is it Blue Marvel to attack everything by a little, or just slam Thanos and hope to win the 50-50?
I think.
Well, it's not even a 50-50, because if they just play middle, you lose.
You lose. I think it's this.
If you're gonna stay in it, it's this. There's always the retreat.
Oh, look at this! We're gonna win! Oh!
Good job.
Victory!
That's funny.
This stunt is made by a professional. Don't do this at home.
Destiny will arrive.
If you know the rules, you can break the rules. That's what, right? Okay. Good. Danger Room. Let's see. Well, assuming they're playing a Hella deck, or they're gonna favor Danger Room, so I think we should get rid of it.
Why would they? What do you mean they favor the?
Because with Hella or anything with discard, they can draw. I mean, with Ghost Rider, they can draw back into Danger Room and take 0 risk.
Ah, yeah, that way. Okay, yeah, sure, you can remove it.
Oh, okay. I don't know if that helps at all, but it's something.
Wait, why do we have Shang-Chi?
Wasn't that in the list? Did we pull it? Did I grab the wrong deck? I don't think so.
Oh, we didn't have Shang-Chi. I thought we removed it for Daredevil. I thought we changed Dino and Shang-Chi for Daredevil and
maybe I didn't get
Gladiator.
the right list. Hold on, we'll finish this one real quick and then we'll get out. Because maybe I have the wrong list.
Well, everything else.
I thought I grabbed. Yeah, maybe because you accidentally recopied the list. Maybe you. Keep priority here. Oh, how's that? Time Stone.
Great.
Nice. Oh, we have an extra one too. That's okay. Let's see. Nothing to Shang-Chi, so I guess it's Blue Marvel.
Yeah, it's Blue Marvel.
High center, I guess.
I don't think it matters too much at this point. It depends if you want to go wide or if you want to go tall, but against Ella, you're probably better off. There's no.
Okay, this is not very good. So. Oh, I guess never mind. We have 7 to play this turn. For just Time Stone, seems not sufficient.
Not great, but it's not like. I mean, otherwise it's Time Stone middle, Shang-Chi right.
This feels like a spot where you would tell me
if they're
you should play
smart,
points.
That's the thing. Like, if you respect your opponent, you expect them to not play big cards outside of Wakanda until the last turn, which makes Shang-Chi.
Right.
But if you show them Shang-Chi, then they can play big cards. But I think priority is more important because we have Alias.
Oh, see, and then they're going to do that anyway, so then.
Good thing we threw Shang-Chi out. It is just
Exactly. It's just points. So Alioth is useless.
Blob
Wait, no,
isn't.
Alioth. Does Alioth not destroy? Does Wakanda protect
Yeah, it protect.
unrevealed cards?
Yeah, it protect.
So then Blob
Mind
Center,
no Mind Stone first,
and
so you remove stones, and then you blob, so you only eat big stuff.
oh, okay. Guess it doesn't matter where we go.
Left or right with the Mind Stone blob in the middle.
Snap.
Sorry, I should have snapped sooner.
I don't even think it's gonna count.
Minions to me.
Ah, we lost by 1 point.
Well, the Mind Stone should have been on the left. I don't know
It
why.
should have been.
There was absolutely. Yeah, there was a reason because you were already ahead on the right.
I
Well,
don't
no,
think
if
we
they
had the
played
Daredevil
Ella
in.
on the right and El Cow on the other.
Destiny will arrive.
Yeah, the list looks fairly similar. I just don't think you have Daredevil in this. Maybe it
I
was
don't
my
think so.
mistake. Let me check it. What did I send you? No, I have Daredevil and not Shang-Chi in mine, so I don't know. Well, you can throw that on deep. You're not gonna trigger Thanos.
I guess we get some points off of Blue Marvel from it. We need Legion. I want Legion.
Hey, Professor X is good against them.
Good. Yeah. Hmm. Well, unfortunately, Icebox hit the one card we needed.
Yep.
Okay, well. So, question. Do we risk Profex here?
Yeah, you can move Jeff. If they play Legion on it, Legion dies.
Yep.
It's actually good that you don't have Prio, because if you had Prio, they would play there and you wouldn't die.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're running, oh, they did. Look
Yeah.
at that.
Oh,
Perfect.
congratulations. Win.
Oh, yeah, they can still Hello, right?
Well, you have priority, so it's a 50-50 with Alioth.
Do they go there, or do they, I guess
I would bank
I guess
on left, but
left. So, you think they'll go left?
yeah, I would go left, but and you can move Jeff because Jeff right is useless.
Yeah.
We're right.
They wanted the points.
Minions to
Well.
me.
Oh well.
Yeah, they wanted to maximize the chances of a card going to the left. Yes,
Makes sense.
because they had two cards. If they played Ella left, there was a chance
The
they would have gone
universe
both to the
shall be
right.
set right.
Okay, I guess from a statistical standpoint, it made more sense to go to the right. Okay, the good news is we should be winning Castle Blackstone for the entirety of the game.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Are we good?
Yep.
And at some point we'll get to play it. Let's see if we can at least we get something. Oh, Mabaku, that's what we needed. And a Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi is useless. Next turn we'll have 6 energy.
So much energy, yeah.
Honestly, they didn't play anything in the first 4 turns. You could almost snap.
Oh, I should probably have snapped. I'm sorry, I wasn't even
It's
paying
fine.
attention.
No problem.
All right, so we're on 4. Just vision and reality stone.
Well,
or
vision on
Mbaku?
castle.
Oh, yeah, of course. And then
Yeah, reality.
is this
Metal.
something?
You'd rather draw, and you're actually not that far from a big Thanos.
Look, that's a
So
energy
much energy. Why is it always so weird during the coaching sessions? I don't have that when I play. Oh, that's
Okay.
good.
Okay,
Next
this
turn.
is.
That's next turn.
I mean, you told me we could try to guess where it's going now, but I guess we can do the hella now. So it's Blob
Well, they can't Hela now.
and Mbaku.
Is it? Is it Blob? Probably. So 8. Oh, 8 make.
Okay.
Good guess. Well, they didn't discard, right?
No, I haven't discarded anything yet, so hell is out.
Yeah, they should just retreat. They just play point. No, why do you want to ally? They didn't discard anything. Points. No, Blue Marvel.
That's fine. I was going.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it's same, right? Same.
Well, if you want to do it really well, you go Vision Metal, yeah, or like this. Yeah, that
At
works.
least like that.
Yeah. Okay, that was the logical
Victory!
way of it happening.
Can we just finish up? This is still PG. Think.
The universe shall be set right.
I'm attempting to just retreat because I'm just tired.
Planche que je t'ai parlé. Il a gagné il y a moins de 2 heures, il l'a vendu 25 000 euros.
That's fine. Oh, okay, so see the next turn if they play something.
Si jamais j'ai...
No, that's not good for us.
Allez. Il n'y a pas le Japon. Dans les 2 premiers pour le Japon. Oui, Vision.
I was wondering if no, it's just what I'm saying. We have Professor X and Blue Marvel, so maybe it's Prof X here, or Prof X into the Soul Stone.
I like Prof X here because I don't think you mind the Vibraniums. They're pretty good.
Yeah. So done. What'd he get? He gets a blade, and it gets rid of. Well, he's got 2 big cards. Did we lose priority? Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did. Wait, why do you want to Shang-Chi on 5?
This is it's only 5. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just slam Blue Marvel or Vision. I like Blue Marvel because you likely won't have priority.
I mean, if we go here, we increase the chance. If we want to not lose, if we don't want to win priority, then it's here, right? So if we want priority, we go left. Because this is. Yeah. Well, clever. And unfortunately, we just lost priority.
No, we have it.
Yeah, I mean, we have it, sorry.
Didn't they discard Ella anyway?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe they did. I wasn't
Wait,
paying.
wait, wait. Why are we playing Vision there? Play Vision on the right. Vision is a 9, so he puts you ahead on the
Oh,
right.
it's 13.
You're just ahead on
Oh,
every
yeah, okay.
location.
Yeah.
Such
Okay, you know,
is my
what?
judgment.
Wow.
Wow, they won.
Okay. Well, we knew they had Tribunal. We saw it be discarded at some point. But you... Could you win? Wait. You keep so fast.
Sorry. No, I'm trying to fix the deck, that's why.
We don't care about the deck. Like, the game is over.
No, but you wanted to switch it to put the right card in.
Yeah, but still, like... Would we have won if we played Vision to the left? Because we would have won the left location, but... What did we have on the right? Blue Marvel and... Shang-Chi?
No, Blue Marvel and... we added Vision. We would have been at 13 with Vision. 14
I know,
with Vision,
but
right?
Vision... I'm asking if we played Vision on the left, would we have won the right? Like, what was with Blue Marvel?
A stone, I think, right? Power stone?
Okay,
maybe?
then we would have lost.
No,
we would have lost either way.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go for a yellow ticket. Let's do, I don't know, I've got some gold tickets, I guess. Gold or silver. So... I got the Thanos deck. That was my bad. It was just the first Thanos deck that loaded. So we can do the Thanos. We're gonna try again with Thanos.
Well, we get. Let's try the Loki deck because that one took a little bit. But the thing is, against that opponent, the Daredevil wouldn't have mattered too much. I mean, the only turn that matters against Ally is turn 6.
Okay.
Happy about Quinjet?
Was that? Yeah, I'm happy.
No, we're happy about Quinjet.
Yeah. Well, into the Nebula lane.
So Nebula.
We have follow-up.
Hero info. Oh. Well, we just have to play. That's good.
I don't know why they're playing so slow. They have a coach sitting over their ear telling them, "You play so fast. Take your time."
Maybe.
Or they just resigned. Okay. So. Ugh. All right. Well, I guess we're not going after White Hot Room. So.
Well, if you play Coulson, you can play your 5 cost on White Hot Room next turn. And actually, no, you still play on Nebula, because that's perfect.
Oh, right, because it moves, yeah.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi and an arrow. Nice. Cheap Shang-Chi.
That's actually perfect. You get to play on Nebula, but you don't trigger it. Alright, Nebula plus magic, we know what that means.
Mm-hmm. Whee!
Oh.
Opponent snapped.
Okay.
A werewolf isn't a bad card.
Yeah, I was just looking for something to play with. We don't have anything to play with.
Well, your whole hand
we're
is
just-
on reveals, and you have more turns. You're fine.
Whee! Okay, Cosmo?
Yeah, it's inchy not. I don't see the problem.
Now, do we want to change where the Cosmo is? I mean, we
Well, you
can
could
Sarah
bring
here, or do
you
we
could bring Cosmo to negative zone, and it's a
use
0.
Yeah,
But you could also
exactly.
just play Sarah and have your whole deck be extra cheap.
Sarah left.
Nah, middle.
Well, Sarah middle, or do we Sarah right because it doesn't care about Cosmo, and we want
It's
to be
an
able to play on
Inchinot.
reveal.
It's an Inchinot deck. He doesn't run Enchantress or Rogue.
I was just trying to stay out of the way so we could use our on reveals more. That's all. Because this would give us the most. To the right gives us the most space, right? Because the werewolf is already there.
Sarah isn't gonna move Werewolf.
No,
Oh,
I know
you
that,
mean
but
in order to
next
move
turn,
Werewolf? Yeah, sure.
oh, okay. Well, at least the werewolf will still move. Okay. So now,
Well, now you just play for points. That's cool. You have a ton of them.
so let's see. Maybe arrow there.
Arrow, Gladiator, Shang-Chi.
That locks the werewolf in on the right side. Is that where we want to do?
That's good because
And
otherwise
once,
Gladiator. You want to lock this because otherwise Gladiator
wait,
is
wait.
gonna go to the right. So you even want a
Oh,
Shang-Chi
but
first.
yeah. Like that. Is the gladiator still going to lock in first? Maybe it should be this way, huh?
Sure, that works. I'm
Oh,
not even
yeah,
sure your
gladiator doesn't
werewolf is
stand.
gonna move, to be honest.
No, it moves. I think, right? Oh, it doesn't move. I thought it would move because it's still an on-reveal card. I guess it no longer counts as an on-reveal card.
No, but you still
Oh,
have
no,
Loki
it
and
counts.
Enchantress to move it.
Okay. So now,
I'm pretty sure on the left you need to beat 17. So can you do that?
let's see. If we played.
If
We
you get
can only move the
werewolf,
werewolf once.
you get 3 plus 2, so that's 5. 5 plus 3 plus 11. So you would tie an infinite. But I mean, that's the only thing you can do. So it's like Iron Lad, yeah, whatever, Loki middle. If you're gonna stay in it, that's the only way you stay in it. Otherwise, you just leave it.
Enchantress.
Right? Wait, 14? Didn't we have 17? Did they... Oh, wait, that... Oh, that's...
Hello! Can you understand me?
Well,
Okay, good.
okay, wait. Because my math was
Loki
definitely
moves back.
terrible.
Victory!
So first, we didn't
Yeah.
account for a steroid to trigger before Werewolf, which was terrible. Second, why did we think we would have 17 on the left? 6 plus 3, 9. 13. How did we count 17? Did they think Enchantress would be a 6 or a 5? Or did they count Gladiator?
Maybe you did.
Yeah, that was terrible. Okay.
But we win.
Yeah, but the goal here is to play well.
I understand.
If a coaching session was measured out of how much did we win, I would be a terrible coach. Because I would just tell you what to do and you would never learn anything.
I understand.
Good coaches are
We
the
did
most
this-
annoying. This is why I capitalize, like I bank everything on being as annoying as I can.
We don't have anything to play.
Yes, but they haven't showed us a Jeff or anything, so that's not bad. We're not in a hurry. Like,
No. So let's see. Oh, okay.
wow, that's actually isn't that good for your Gladiator? Because I don't want to play Gladiator against a deck that plays Infinite or stuff like that. I mean, you have Shang-Chi, so you could Gladiator middle and just because you're probably gonna Shang-Chi Shuri's Lab anyway.
Yeah. I mean, do we do it now, or do we try and do it and try to give up? But they're going to leech, right? We know we have to play on leech. So
Yeah,
maybe
no,
this
you
is a
want to
good way
play.
of.
You don't want to wait. You want to play. Against Inchinot, you play.
Oh. I'm not sure that was helpful, but okay. Was it Werewolf or Coulson Quinjet? Or Enchantress? Oh, it's not going to work. Never mind. That's stupid.
So you want to Quinjet
I
Coulson?
mean, that's the idea. Do we do that? And then,
then you Quinjet to the right. You need to get the cards that don't have unreveal effects on nowhere because.
On the right side, yeah, exactly.
But Kyra is very annoying for Shuri's Lab because we can't kill Infinite now. So how the hell are we going to win this? Like we probably should have considered retreating.
Oh, we got a vision.
Wait,
though.
we just win left. Wait.
We win left.
Oh, and we have a sentry now.
Yeah, and a Cosmo.
Yeah, that's what I said. We have a sentry for free.
Yeah.
So you 100%.
Okay.
You 100% vision middle.
Right. So.
And then you think.
Well,
you snow guard as well.
Yeah, we have this. Snow guard middle. No, it doesn't matter. It's just points now. So do we snow guard that or snow guard for points and just get 4 there? And then we finish vision, or we're going to be on 6, so we could vision. All we have is 20 points next turn then. And we can't play right. So we're
I
going to
think
go.
you want a snow guard to the right. You're not going to play the cards generated by snow guard. They don't matter.
Right, but this is next turn. This would be 4 plus 40 or 20, right?
An Infinite is going to calm down and be a 40. That's what I mean. I mean, you don't need snow guard.
Well, I understand that. I'm just saying, like, oh, he didn't play anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he wants to play Infinite.
So we're doing this.
So
we can do.
let's imagine they are at 54 in the middle. We have 24.
This gets us 60.
44.
That's 60.
Not enough. So maybe we should play on the right. Maybe it's just better to Iron Lad the right.
Because they're going to put 10 down, right?
What do you mean 10? Infinite on the middle is a 40.
No, I know that. So they're going to be 40. So that's going to be 54.
Yes.
And we would be at 60.
No, because you remove 16, moving vision.
Oh, you're right. Duh.
You're at 24 right now. You're not at 40. You're at 24. So Sentry would be 44. 44 loses to 54.
Yeah.
But this is better, because if they play middle, you win left and right. If they play... Yeah.
Hello! So happy!
What they would have...
I guess I was expecting...
What they should have done, and they didn't do, was play a She-Hulk or something in the middle, and then play points on the right.
Yeah. That's what I was expecting a She-Hulk too, but I guess because they didn't pass 5, did they? Or did they? So, all right. Well, let's finish this.
Opponent snapped.
Okay, he snapped me. Fine, I'm fine. We can finish this on your snap. Ooh.
How many Quinjets do you want?
Zabu?
Yeah, Zabu first. But you don't want several Zabus.
Zabu?
No, you don't want several Zabus. You're not gonna replay anything. So next turn you're gonna play Werewolf, and then you're gonna go like Quinjet Coulson, and then you're just gonna go off. So. Oh,
Okay.
I mean, we play
What's that?
Shang-Chi. Do you want another werewolf? I don't think so. I don't think you want cards in your hand because you have Coulson and Snowguard, and
Yeah,
you
it's gonna
really
be
want
kind of-
those. So, also, do you know the trick with Snowguard on Monster Island? In case they fill it, you just use the bear and get a 10 power monster for yourself.
Yeah, I've done that with Legion too, and just put 10 power monsters in 2 other locations and crushed my numbers.
I think, well, you can't snap because it's already max, but
Max.
you might want a Snowguard now, so next turn you can play the Hawk, and Limbo is disabled before they can leech you.
Okay, so here's the part. So I can Snow Guard, and I
Coulson.
can Gladiator left.
Nah, Coulson. It's still a deck with
Coulson?
Infinite and She-Hulk. And Shang-Chi is not in her hand, and we already have a target for Shang-Chi, and if we go for the disable Limbo plan, there's no point giving them point.
That's the first time we've seen the Cyclops. But look, our monster is safe.
So, do we think they're gonna leech? I mean, we still Quinjet, right? We still go Quinjet Hawk, don't we?
Quinjet.
Quinjet doesn't matter,
Oh,
so not on the right. So I guess Quinjet left, Hawk middle, something like that.
Talking to.
Quinjet middle? Or you said Quinjet right?
Oh no, Quinjet
No,
left. You don't
that's
want to
gonna
play
block that.
right.
Quinjet left? No,
Yeah.
you're fine. I'm just
Hawk middle
then-
because that's where you have space.
middle.
What talk now?
We dodge leech.
You're talking to. You're talking to a pro at this.
I am talking to a pro at this.
Hello.
What did he do?
Oh, there's Leech.
We
Okay.
dodge leech.
So we dodged Leech. And
But
now
we
have
know
a nice
werewolf
blast.
doesn't move now. Oh, lad.
Oh, yeah, it can move.
Well,
I
it
don't know how to
moves
move it.
if lad copies an unreveal. Lad itself doesn't
Right.
move it. It's the ability it copies that needs to be unreveal.
So now we have, so potentially we have like 14 points here.
Just go for
And-
max points.
So then here,
That can't be
Here?
max points.
no, it can't be.
Max points is
So-
Enchantress, Bear, Gladiator. Or Man Thing, maybe.
Oh, I see.
Maybe it's Man Thing, Enchantress, Gladiator. That's max points.
What? What?
Okay. I guess I would have gotten the points off the werewolf, but
Oh, wait. Why isn't Gladiator... Oh, yeah, no. That was... Gladiator, that was max points.
Well,
Like,
that's
3 cards is
that's
more than...
14. Yeah, so
Gladiator and
Here, we
Iron Lad
can-
is 14 over 2 locations. Yeah, so Iron Lad left, Gladiator right. That works too. Oh wow, they had a lot to play.
you got a Mirage. That wasn't very good.
Well, they didn't play
Not
Hulk.
Nice.
They can't play Infinite, so we win left.
Wow. Okay. We had
Alrighto, 10-0. Loki dismantled Infinite.
Victory!
Alright.
yeah, next game. It's psychology.
Alright.
What? Okay.
This is mine.
Yeah, like that.
So,
One more? Are you good? We're good.
I think
time
we're
it is.
running out of time, but the
Yeah.
Loki deck
Okay.
wasn't so bad, to be honest. Loki deck did
That
some
was good.
good things.
Yeah. No, I think it was good. It was a fun game. It was a fun deck.
Because it had like
There's lots of
possibilities. And we played against a Leech deck, and we're supposed to be pretty slow, but the fact that we could generate cards and stuff like that, that was decent.
We did not use the Loki once though.
Can you?
Yeah, but you
can
don't want to against High Evo.
So, okay.
I mean,
very nice.
against High Evo, you're gonna steal unevolved card and an Infinite you can't play. So The only good
Maybe.
situation against Inchinot for Loki is steal both She-Hulk and Infinite, pass turn 5, and play both. That's the only good thing that you can do against that deck with Loki.
Right.
So what did we learn today? We learned that Shang-Chi isn't that good in the end. Like, everyone runs Shang-Chi, but Hela doesn't care about it. Most decks that are weak to Shang-Chi are running Kyra anyway. So what are the good targets for Shang-Chi? Maybe it's Shang-Chi we should remove.
In my other deck, I did take out Shang-Chi. I felt that I wasn't using it because Kyra was taking everything away, and then I was fighting for priority anyways, so it wasn't very good on 6. It was like a dead card. And then Leech on 5 made it often a good, so I'm more likely to Enchantress early or play Shadow King and then Shadow King Enchantress or something.
Well, I don't know if Shadow King works in that particular deck. Well, there's only Werewolf. We could play Shadow King, but... So we have a spot for Shang-Chi. What card would we want? Do we want to generate something? Do we want... Because we're pretty on curve here. Like, it's...
Do we want Jeff?
Could be. Do we want Mobius? Do we want... Jeff is never bad. Oh wait, do we want armor? There's a lot of destroy, protects Quinjet.
Can't hurt.
Well, we said we wanted Cosmo as well.
Yeah, we didn't put Cosmo in there.
Okay, so there's one spot. It can be armor, Jeff. Let's put armor because destroy is pretty popular. And it could protect our werewolf from opposing Shang-Chi. Okay. So this is the flex slot. Okay, we found a flex slot. We found a deck that looked promising, although it was just one conquest, but we had stuff to play every single game. Unfortunately, we won't have time to test everything else. I mean, Darkhawk is just a good cards deck, so if anyone wants to try it, feel free to let us know how it goes. And Serra Control is a deck that has been well documented. We didn't get, it's kind of funny because we went against Inchinot and we had 2 out of 4 decks with Legion. We didn't get to use it.
I guess the other thing is take out is I could take out. I guess the armor is really good for what do you call it? Not only destroy, but the current hot location too.
Yeah.
But I could also just put Quake in there and be happy. So.
True. Yeah, armor is definitely the flex card in the deck, and we can just find things to do with it. All right, that was a good session. We would need, like, in the current metagame, we would need 6-hour sessions. Unfortunately, we do not have the foundings of the American army. So, and I'm in Europe, so eventually, like, my buddy wants to sleep. So on this note, we're gonna say bye-bye to YouTube. I hope this session was informative. We talked a lot at the start, but that was necessary because a lot of time when we can't really make sense of the metagame, playing will help, obviously, like playing always help, but trying to kind of like rationalize things can help us like build a deck that makes sense and kind of like most importantly like build trust in the deck. Because I feel like when we're lost and we're just picking decks offline, online or things like this and we try them and they fail, we're very quick to move on. While if we build a reasoning and we build a deck based off that reasoning, we're going to have more trust, and even if we hit a rough patch, we're going to be able to overcome it, or we're going to give the deck a second chance, rather than we just opened Twitter, picked a deck, didn't work, moved on, and maybe it was a good deck, we just got unlucky for a couple of games.
Right.
So, on this note, bye-bye YouTube, see you next week.